On the news tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari meets with APC chieftain Bola Ahmed Tinubu behind closed doors in London. In business, Kemi Adeosun and Godwin Emefiele depart Nigeria for World Economic Summit. On the foreign scene, US and France denies Russia's claim of intercepting 71 cruise missiles. Hello and welcome to Superscreen News 8, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. I am Olamide Onka. Many thanks for joining us. President Muhammadu Buhari is met behind closed doors with chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in London. President's personal assistant on social media, Bashir Ahmad, made this known on his Twitter from Abuja. You will recall that President Buhari had on April 9th, during the National Executive Committee meeting of the All Progressive Congress, declared his intention to seek re-election in 2019. While in Britain, the president is billed to hold discussions on Nigeria-British relations with Prime Minister Theresa May prior to the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting scheduled for April 18 to 20th. The presidential spokesman, Garba Shehu, disclosed this, that the president will also meet with the Chief Executive Officer of Royal Dutch Company plc, Ben Burden, in connection with Shell and other partners' plan to invest $15 billion in Nigeria's oil industry. Senate President Bukola Saraki has reiterated his support for local government autonomy in the country. Saraki, who disclosed this in Abuja during a visit by the National Union of Local Government Employees, said the Senate will continue to work towards the realization of autonomous governance at the third tier of government.
It's an effort that we all have a role to play to see that how do we go about in seeing that the local government has been strengthened. Because in some local governments too, as much as we say that, we know that there are local governments, particularly in the area of support to primary school teachers, that if you even leave the local governments alone as they are, in some of these local governments too, they will not be able to function. So I think it's important to see how we ensure local governments are independent, local governments have autonomy, that the governors cannot interfere with what is due to local government. But there has to still be a kind of cordial symbolic relationship. To just say that they should stay on their own, I think there are also disadvantages at that. And also at the same time too, there might be ways for which for us to look at how do we ensure that the local governments have adequate funding without interference that will make them be strong. And I think that is what we need to look at.
National President of the Union, Ibrahim Khalil, lamented the poor treatment received by local government administrations in the country and called for a change in status quo.
Local government is essentially created to bridge gap in governance and democracy. And the truth of the matter is that today our local governments are completely rendered impotent. If you visit any local government council, with the exception of few who are in the cities, certainly you will not notice any presence of governance or any serious business of government taking place there. And this is not far from the huge interference and undue influence this tier of government has been suffering for a very long period of time.
Senator representing Anambra Central, Victor Ume, says Nigerians should not depend on the former president Olusegun Obasanjo before selecting a candidate to vote for in 2019. The lawmaker, who disclosed this to journalists in Abuja, said the former president does not have the right to dictate who becomes the next president, as he is not led by example when he was the president of the country. Ume said the former president's third-term agenda brought so many ills to the country, as he urged Nigerians to disregard his statements.
those of us who served this country in political party leadership when Obasanjo was president, I was very critical of Obasanjo's presidency. I was. Because there were too many things he did I, as a person, did not agree with. I didn't see him as somebody who worked to enthrone democracy in Nigeria. Rather, he sabotaged democracy. Under his watch, Nigeria didn't make any progress in having a decent democracy in terms of allowing people to vote for people of their choice, and then those votes are respected. Electoral banditry was of the highest proportion under Obasanjo's presidency. So if we are rating his stewardship, we can see that he failed in so many areas, and he also helped to institutionalize electoral corruption in Nigeria. That is the greatest disservice he did to this nation. We're very critical of that, knowing that when people elect somebody they want, then you change it and put in somebody who did not even take part in the election and force the person on the people. Is it not worse than economic corruption? Electoral corruption is worse than economic corruption, because through electoral corruption we bring bad leaders into governance, and when they get in, they don't think about the ordinary people. You know, anything goes. So his era was an era of anything went. So in 2019, I will advocate for the Nigerian people to use their votes to decide what they want.
The federal lawmakers elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress APC are angry with the leadership of the Senate over its decision to disband a pro-Buhari group as part of the conditions for suspending Senator Ovie Omoagege. The APC lawmakers believes the Senate leadership headed by an APC party member is being unnecessarily harsh on fellow party members who make up the pro-Buhari group, especially in the crucial months leading to the 2019 elections. The lawmakers met to review recent events in the Red Chamber of the National Assembly and could not understand why the Senate leadership seems to be targeting APC members for sanctions. They reportedly questioned why Senate President Bukola Saraki allowed the suspension of Omoagege of the APC to go through despite the intervention of the party's leadership and other prominent chieftains on the matter. The federal government has promised to release the names of more people alleged to have looted public funds. You will recall that two previous sets of lists released by the government have been criticized for containing only the names of the members of the main opposition party, PDP. Report says none of those names have been convicted, with some of them being prosecuted and others not being tried for any offense. In a statement made available to journalists in Lagos, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says in Nigeria, since the release of the first two lists of the alleged looters, there have been overt and covert attempts to intimidate and blackmail the federal government into discontinuing the release of more looters' names. Mohammed said the pressure being mounted on the government over its decision to expose looters is unexpected. The minister said the pressure being mounted on the government shall challenge anyone who feels he or she has been wrongly accused to seek redress in court rather than engage in public mockery. The Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Kayode Fayemi, has vowed to jail Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose if re-elected governor. Fayemi disclosed this during the declaration of intent to contest for Ekiti State governorship seat on the platform of the All Progressives Congress. He said Fayose will be made to account for the gross mismanagement of the state's resources and allocation in the last 4 years. Fayemi, who was governor between October 2010 and October 2014, shocked the crowd by bringing out a red card from his pocket, which he symbolically showed to Fayose and the People's Democratic Party. He said, vowed that he would be brought to justice at the end of his tenure, and he has managed all the funds received from the federal government on behalf of the state. The Otun Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Lekan Balogun, has pleaded with the kidnappers of his twin to release them. Oba Balogun appealed to them to bear with him as he does not have the 100 million naira, later reduced to 40 million naira, demanded for the release of the children. Oba Balogun said he is ready as he offered 5 million naira, which was rejected by the kidnappers. The mothers of the kids said to have been hospitalized since she received the news of a kidnapped, with doctors battling to save her life. The Oyo Police Public Relations Officer Adekunle Adishebodu said the Oyo State Police Command is doing everything to rescue the kidnapped children unhurt and arrest the abductors. Niger State Police Command has uncovered an illegal firearm factory in Mashegu local government area of the state. Report says the suspected manufacturers of the illegal guns had been convicted by a court to serve as a deterrent to others. You will recall that the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has ordered the recovery of all prohibited firearms in all states in the country. The Nigerian Army 6th Division Port Harcourt has concluded the Inter-Brigade Corporal and Below competition hosted by the 6th Division Garrison. A competition which is aimed at equipping knowledge soldiers in the discharge of their duties was concluded in Rivers State over the weekend. The college provost and educator of the studies, Joseph Akman, said the competition has improved the competence and efficiency of the officers.
We just witnessed by troops from various formations and units a show of strength, tactics, and team spirit, which are the fundamentals of any armed forces around the world. It has also shown combat readiness and proficiency of the Nigerian Army at large and the troops of 6th Division Nigerian Army in particular. I would like to use the privilege to enjoin the junior non-commissioned officers to keep the flag flying high as always and apply the prowess exhibited here today to their everyday life. Let me add that it's not only enough to be strong, you must be of good attitude.
Others who spoke highlighted the importance of the competition in the development of the men of the Nigerian Army.
I want to assure you that this is part and parcel of our training exercises for the year. It is in our training directive for the second quarter, and we have subsequent competitions that are coming. You have seen why you need to train, why you need to prepare. Like the MC said earlier on, for everything we do here is geared towards performance of our soldiers in the field. If you are doing obstacle crossing, it is not just for nothing that I want you to come and do obstacle crossing and we watch and laugh. No. We are preparing you for future tasks. And what is the future task of a soldier? To defend the territorial integrity of Nigeria.
Very interesting. I can see exceptional display of professionalism. They are very strong. Watching this, you want to join them in. Of course, you can't get enough attention, so you always want attention. So yes, they deserve much more attention, but they are doing very well. There's no doubt about it.
The competition, which included drills in swimming, map reading, and weapon handling, amongst others, saw the 6th Division Garrison emerging the overall winner. Coming up on Superscreen News at 8, Kemi Adeosun and Godwin Emefiele depart Nigeria for World Economic Summit. Welcome back, and now for some business stories. The Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, and the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor, Godwin Emefiele, have left Nigeria for Washington, D.C. to join other economic experts from around the world to discuss issues affecting the economy. Discussions will take place under the auspices of the World Bank Group and the International Monetary Fund. The spring meetings of the IMF and the World Bank brings together central bankers, ministers of finance and development, parliamentarians, private sector executives, representatives from civil society, organizations, and the academia. The experts will discuss issues of global concern, including the world economic outlook, poverty eradication, economic development, and aid effectiveness. The National Bureau of Statistics has revealed that the Nigerian economy attracted a total of $68.5 billion investment inflow between 2013 and 2017. An analysis of the capital importation report made available to journalists showed the investment inflow came from three main sources, which are foreign direct investment made up of equity and other capital, portfolio investments comprising equity, bond and money market instruments, and other investments made up of trade credits, loans, currency deposits, and other claims. The total debt of power distribution companies to service providers in Nigeria has risen to 183.19 billion naira. A report presented by the sector's market operator at the recent 26th sectoral meeting showed the shortfall of service to providers by the 11 discos had been increasing since the commencement of the transitional electricity market in 2015. This comes as the report on the disbursement status update of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigerian Electricity Management Stabilization Facility, revealed the CBN so far has disbursed a total of 158.74 billion to 37 power firms in the industry out of 40 beneficiaries. Nigeria Delta Development Commission (NDDC) says it has plans to generate 7,000 megawatts of electricity to improve power supply and boost economic activities in the region. The managing director of the NDDC, Nsima Ikere, who disclosed this to journalists in Akure, said the project is the design stage and the commission has received encouragement from Nexim Bank in the United States of America. According to Ikere, the commission is prepared to focus its activities on projects that will engender and sustainable and comprehensive economic and social integration of the region in line with its status of growth. The Ogun State Police Command says it has arrested 5 persons in connection for allegedly hacking Naira notes. The police conducted and indicated that they were arrested in Ijebu-Ode, Shagamu, and Abeokuta during the sting operations jointly carried out by the operatives of the command and officials of the Central Bank of Nigeria on Thursday 12th and Friday 13th of April 2018. State Police Public Relations Officer Abimbola Oyeyemi said the operation is in line with the provisions of Section 21, Subsection 1 of the CBN Act 2007, which made hawking, selling, and abuse of Naira a punishable offense. Still ahead tonight, U.S. and France denies Russia's claim of intercepting 71 cruise missiles. That's on the foreign scene. These and many more stories coming your way after the break. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Superscreen News 8, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. And on the foreign scene, the United States and France have denied claims that Syrian